September 11th, 2001, 8:46 a.m. American Airlines Flight 11 strikes the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 9:03 a.m. United Airlines Flight 175 strikes the South Tower. Here's something most people don't know.
What's that?
The North Tower was built before 1970, before New York City banned asbestos insulation. It had asbestos fireproofing.
And the South Tower?
Built after the ban, no asbestos. They used mineral wool instead.
So one tower had asbestos, one didn't.
The South Tower collapsed 56 minutes after impact.
The one without asbestos.
The North Tower stood for 102 minutes. 18,000 people were evacuated in that time, twice as long.
The one with asbestos.
In 4,500 years of human history, a history where asbestos has killed hundreds of thousands of people, could September 11th, 2001 be the one day it actually saved lives? That's what this series is about.
This isn't a simple story.
No. It's a story about something miraculous and deadly at the same time. About how people can know something is killing them and keep using it anyway.
Where do we start?
The beginning, 4,500 years ago.
Asbestos, a conspiracy 4,500 years in the making, is sponsored by Danziger and Delano Law Firm, dandel.com.
Okay, so actually, let's start about 2,000 years ago with a Roman historian named Pliny the Elder.
All right.
So Pliny is watching slaves in a workshop. They're weaving this strange, shimmering cloth. And he's fascinated by it.
What?
The workers, the ones who weave this cloth, they all seem to develop this sickness of the lungs. And the smart ones...
Wait, hold on. They knew back then?
They wore masks. Makeshift respirators, basically. Made from dried animal bladders.
2,000 years ago, they were making respirators?
I mean, crude ones, but yeah, they saw cause and effect. They didn't understand the mechanism. They didn't know about fiber pathology or whatever, but they could see it. Work with this stuff, get sick.
And they just kept going?
The mineral was too valuable. The workers were slaves.
Damn.
That pattern, that exact pattern, is going to repeat for the next 2,000 years.
So where does asbestos actually come from, like originally?
Okay, so we need to go back even further. 2500 BCE, Finland.
Finland?
Archaeologists found Stone Age pottery with these strange, stringy fibers mixed into the clay.
Asbestos fibers.
Earliest known use by humans. Before the pyramids were finished, people were putting asbestos in their cookware.
Why, though? What were they trying to do?
Heat resistance. You mix asbestos into clay, your pot doesn't crack over the fire. It's just, practical Stone Age engineering.
So they figured out it was fireproof.
Basically, yeah. But it's the ancient Greeks who really, formalize it. They give it its name.
Asbestos.
From the Greek, means unquenchable, inextinguishable.
Indestructible.
Exactly. And for the Romans, it was a marvel, a party trick almost.
And this connection to fire, to things that seem eternal, indestructible, it gets wrapped up in religion and power.
How do you mean?
Ancient Athens, the Erechtheian Temple on the Acropolis. There was this golden lamp dedicated to the goddess Athena.
Okay.
It was designed to burn forever, day and night. And its wick was made of asbestos.
So it never burned out.
The oil would run low, sure, but the wick itself never consumed. According to the ancient sources, they only had to refill the oil once a year.
Once a year?
That's what they claimed. An eternal flame for an immortal goddess.
And the asbestos made it possible.
Then you have Rome, the Vestal Virgins.
The eternal flame of Vesta.
You know this one?
It symbolized the life of Rome itself, right? If the flame died, the city would fall.
That's the belief. And that flame burned for over 1,000 years. The wick Asbestos.
And if a Vestal virgin let it go out?
Buried alive.
So the stakes were literally life and death.
State security. An indestructible wick for an empire that wanted to believe it would last forever.
There's something poetic about that and kind of tragic.
That's asbestos. From sacred flames to funeral shrouds. A mineral so useful, so seemingly miraculous, that for 4,500 years humans kept finding new ways to use it.
Even when they could see what it was doing?
Even when slaves were getting sick. Even when workers were fashioning masks from animal bladders just to breathe.
And that's just the ancient world.
That's just the beginning. Because what we've been talking about, isolated workshops, small-scale mining, rare luxury goods, that's nothing compared to what comes next.
The Industrial Revolution.
When asbestos goes from curiosity to commodity. When millions of tons get pulled from the earth. When entire cities are built around asbestos mines.
And when companies start keeping secrets.
In 1918, insurance companies start refusing to cover asbestos workers. They're uninsurable. Too much risk. And the executives running these companies, they knew why. They wrote it down. They kept records.
Records that would eventually come out.
Records that would become evidence.
If you or someone you love has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or any illness related to asbestos exposure, you deserve to know your options. Asbestos, a conspiracy 4,500 years in the making, is brought to you by Danziger and De Yano, a nationwide mesothelioma law firm with over 30 years of experience and nearly $2 billion recovered for asbestos victims. With $30 billion available in asbestos trust funds and multiple paths to compensation, families don't have to navigate this alone. For a free consultation, visit dandel.com.
Next time on Asbestos, a conspiracy 4,500 years in the making.
Workers getting sick, becoming uninsurable, and dying. And the people in charge? Taking notes and making a fortune.